Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining me back here on KB Decor Crafts. For today's video, I wanted to show you guys how I created this adorable Easter tablescape and a couple decor pieces to go along with it. So this would be my first time creating a tablescape, so please bear with me if the utensils are not in the right areas, but I wanted to show you a couple quick decor pieces that would go together nicely to set up for Easter. Make sure you stay tuned to the end to see how I decorated this area, and let's get started. For my first project, I made the bunny plaid napkin holders, and I made those out of the shower curtain rings that I found at Dollar Tree, which was a pack of 12, but I only used 4 for this table setting. And with a little bit of hot glue and some jute string, I wrapped that entirely around the ring to completely cover it. Also, adding a little hot glue here and there avoids the jute string from sliding around as you're wrapping it. And once you have it all wrapped, go ahead and seal it down with a little bit of hot glue, and then with some scissors I just cut around the edges, getting all the frills off, and then repeat that for as many rings as you'd like to make. Now I'm sure you can find these bunny ears anywhere for very inexpensive. I found mine at the 99-cent store. I just got 4 of them for 99 cents, and I was trying to cut them off, or well, cut the ear parts off with some wire, and then I quickly realized that I could just do it with my hand by bending them and then cutting off the ribbon. I just completely unraveled the ribbon off of both sets of ears and then took it off the metal piece. Now these were pretty easy to just bend and snap apart. You didn't need any tools for them or any wire cutters. I just bent it with my hands and they snapped right off. Now doing the same thing to the ear forms that I did with the shower curtain rings, I glued it on the tip of the jute string and then just wrapped around the entire ear form. And again, make sure to add some hot glue as you go. Now once those were all done, I used a fabric square that I had gotten from Dollar Tree back around Christmas time that I still had some left over. You can get these squares from anywhere, such as Walmart, very inexpensively. I just cut out a shape that I knew would be enough to have excess overhanging the ears, and then with some hot glue I glued around the ear shape form and then pressed it down to my fabric. Now when pressing it down, you want to make sure to go ahead and tug and pull on the fabric, that way it's stretched out. And once the glue is dry, go in as closely as you can with a pair of scissors and cut around the ear. If you have any excess on the bottom, cut that off too, because you don't want it to scrunch up when gluing it down. Now just using some hot glue, I glued on the bottom tips of the ears and the piece of fabric and then glued it onto the ring. You want to make sure to hold onto it for a little bit until the glue has dried. And then go ahead and glue on the other side of the bunny ear. And I made 4 of these for my table. Now for my centerpiece, I'm just going to be reusing a piece from a Christmas craft that I made, and it's one of these signs from Dollar Tree, just in case you need to find it. And I just removing whatever was on it, in this case it was wooden letters, and then I'm going to repaint this. Now most of this isn't really going to show in the end product, but I wanted to cover up the red, and with white chalk paint I went ahead and gave this 2 coats. Now for the eggs that I used, I grabbed 2 packs from Dollar Tree, and I only needed 11 of them to spell out Happy Easter, so I went ahead and painted these with white chalk paint, giving them 2 coats. And now for me, I had to do these on half side each and then turning them around once they dried to paint the other half. Otherwise they kept getting stuck to the carton. Now to cover up the frame that I used earlier and to give it more of a crate look, I'm using these wooden rulers that I found at Dollar Tree and just removing the strips off. And then I'm going to use 2 for the front and the back and then 1 more for the sides. I just measured out about how much I needed to cut off, and then with a handsaw I just cut my rulers down. Once those were cut, I stained all 4 pieces with the Waverly wax antique paint. Now to adhere the rulers, I just used some hot glue to stick them onto the frame. Now I wish I would have left this side facing outward like I did for the side pieces that I did, which you'll see in a minute, but I mean, regardless, it still came out looking cute. So once I stuck on that side, I did the same for the other side and then I glued on my side pieces as well. So for the side piece, I needed to glue them on in the opposite direction because it wasn't going to lay flat against the frame. So that's why I glued them this way, but I kind of liked the way they looked better. Now to add on the word Happy Easter to my eggs, I found this stencil that I got from Dollar Tree, and I like to cut the letters out to be able to stencil them easier, and I just did it one by one. Now since the eggs are such an odd shape to stencil, I had to hold it down as best as I could, and then with a pencil I tried to trace the stencil, and then I went back in with just a Sharpie or black marker, whatever you have that you're going to use the same color for painting. I went and outlined it a little better, a little thicker than what the pencil was giving me, and then with some black chalk paint I went over that marker and then filled it in as well. I love this font that I found at Dollar Tree. It really came out cute in the end. You could use any type of font you want, and if you have a Cricut, you could go ahead and use that too. I first glued down all of the letters that spelled out Easter all in a row. Then I just carefully added a little bit of hot glue on each side of the eggs that were going to be on top. Now once those were done, I used some of the floral moss that can also be found at Dollar Tree and some hot glue to glue it down section by section. Now it's entirely up to you on how much of the moss you want to use and how much of the area you want to cover. I wanted to cover most of the white that was showing and made sure to get some in between the eggs. It would have been a lot more difficult to glue down the eggs if I would have put the moss down first, so that's why I chose to do this after. And once that was done, I just went in with some scissors to trim off any excess. And there's my little Happy Easter centerpiece. Now moving on to my last DIY and my favorite out of the 3, I found this adorable beaded dishware set at the Dollar Tree, and I got the set for almost about $16 for everything. So I used the smallest plate out of the set, and I found these printables off of Google, and I just Googled some bunny watercolored pictures, and I'm also using the Mod Podge from Dollar Tree since this was only for decorating purposes. And to cut out the bunny, I made sure to get as close as possible to the design to not have any of the white paper showing. I think these bunnies were super adorable. So now you can go ahead and paintbrush some of that Mod Podge all around the center area of the plate. And place down your picture to the center of where you'd like it, and make sure to smooth it out, get all the bubbles out from underneath the paper. Once that's in place, make sure to add another coating of the Mod Podge all around, and like I said, making sure that the paper is nice and flat. Now as it's drying, you might get a few little air bubbles here and there, but they were pretty easy to flatten out with my finger. I am completely obsessed with how these turned out. These are by far my favorite that I've made, and I'm so happy to have these in my collection now. Alright, now let's move on to how I decorated. And just a friendly reminder, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you would like to continue to see some easy and affordable DIYs and some decor inspiration. If you want to see how I folded up my napkin to look like little bunny ears, make sure to check out my Instagram because I will have a small tutorial on how I made them. And as always, if you want to know where my decor is from, I'll have that listed down below. I am so happy with how this all turned out. I'm pretty much obsessed with this whole tablescape. I haven't even wanted to remove it off my table. It just looks all so cute together, and I'm really happy with the turnout. I would love to hear which one of these DIYs was your favorite in the comments down below, and also if you have any requests for any decor pieces or any Easter decorations, I would love to know as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.